So let's talk about conversion campaigns. Better yet, let's answer this question. You have a subscriber, now what? Right? We're not building subscriber bases to collect them and to compare list size, right? So what do we do with a subscriber once we have them? Well, here's the answer. We need to move them through the convert phase as quickly and seamlessly as possible, and we do that by deploying a conversion campaign. So again, just a quick check-in on where we're at in the customer value journey canvas. We're right here post subscribe into that convert phase. So if someone has joined our list, if it's the first time on our list, they've received the indoctrination campaign. In fact, they could be receiving that right now, but we also need to deploy a conversion campaign to make sure that they don't just build a relationship with us, that bond is built. They don't just like us and think we're smart, but they change the relationship from prospect to buyer, from subscriber to customer. Something magic happens when that transition in relationship occurs. So we need to leverage a conversion series or conversion campaign to do that. What is a conversion campaign? Well, simply defined, it's an interest-based, triggered campaign sent immediately following a specific action or request, right? The job of the conversion series is to turn subscribers into converts, right? To turn subscribers into converts, to turn subscribers into customers. We really need to make sure that we are focused on changing that relationship from passive to active, right? We need a transaction to occur to make that change in relationship. Now, emails in a conversion series should always reference the previous positive action and prescribe the next logical step. We want to make sure that anytime the subscriber has done something that is beneficial, anytime they have said yes to something we've asked them to do, and anytime we believe and have every reason to believe that they received value from saying yes, we need to reference that. We're referencing back and saying, remember, you're getting this email because you did this and that was good for this reason, right? So successful conversion emails or campaigns will overcome or inoculate against known objections and common misconceptions. So the best way to tackle these objections is before the customer can verbalize them, even to themselves, right? We need to go ahead and overcome or inoculate those known objections before we actually present the solution or present the offer for someone to make that transaction. And this can typically be done in a series that is anywhere from 3 to 5 emails long. Now, the way we figure out how long one of these series should be is price, right? Price in the conversion series. The price of your product or service determines the length of the campaign. Price determines length. Let's not spend too much time talking about a product or service that is a couple of dollars, right? Think about it like if you were checking out at the grocery store. There's not a lot of marketing that goes into the little 5-stick pack of gum. It's there. If you want it, great. If not, also great. There's a ton of other items there. Not a lot of marketing done. Not necessarily end caps dedicated to why you should chew gum, the benefits of juicy fruit, or why the flavor only lasts for 3 seconds. But I digress. We need to make sure that in these series, the greater the commitment, the greater the conversion. So think about that for a second. The greater the commitment, now the commitment can be of time or money. So the greater the commitment, the greater the ask, the greater the conversion. So here's some questions to help you figure out what that ask is, what that ideal next step is. So question number 1, what is the ideal next step your new subscriber should take to receive the most value or experience their desired end result, their desired after state? Remember, if you're a mattress store, you're not selling mattresses, you're selling a good night's sleep, right? So what is the ideal next step? What's the logical next step? What is the thing that if your subscriber did this, they would experience all of their wildest dreams? So we need to first identify that as we're crafting this conversion campaign. The second question you have to ask, and this is a big one, do you have any reason to believe that they are ready to take that next step? Now, I really want you to linger here for a minute, right? We can know that if someone just does this thing, all their wildest dreams will come true. Their average day will be exponentially better. They'll be more beautiful or more handsome. They'll be taller or skinnier. They'll be richer, more successful. They'll have access to untold wealth, fame, and fortune. But if they don't believe it, then it's harmful to ask. And I want you to really think about that. It does hurt to ask. If the next logical step is too much, if you wouldn't do it in a live interaction, if you wouldn't move someone from requesting a free thing to asking for them to buy a car or a house, right? To give you $25,000, to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you shouldn't ask your new subscriber. But what do? Well, that brings you to the 3 goals of conversion, right? So there are 3 different conversion goals, right? 3 different things we can ask of the subscriber that can be considered a conversion. The first one is we can ask them to buy, right? Flat out, give me money. Currency in exchange for goods, currency in exchange for services. That's the first goal, and that's the most basic goal to understand. The second goal of a conversion campaign is we can get them to reply, right? We can get them to reply, buy or reply. And the third goal is we can get them to consume, all right? So if we're looking at a bigger ask than is acceptable, if you're saying, I can't ask someone who I know has only registered for this webinar info session, who has requested this free download, who has filled out this survey, who has entered this contest. These are all ways that someone could get on this email list and entered into a conversion campaign. If I know they've only done that, then I can't possibly ask them to do the thing that I ultimately know they need to do next. Then we're going to strike off number 1. The goal of your conversion campaign is not to get them to buy. And we have to say, should they consume or should they reply? Do we need them to reply to start a conversation that moves them over, into a different sales motion? Do we need them to consume so that they'll understand critical pieces that make that next step far more logical? So these are the 3 goals of conversion, and you have to figure out, based on the next logical step, and if it's appropriate to ask, which goal you should be focused on in crafting your conversion campaign. Now let's take a look at the conversion checklist. So what are the things that need to be present in each and every conversion campaign? The first thing is we need to make sure we're referencing the previous positive action taking. Now remember, positive. Never reference a negative action. Never reference something the subscriber didn't do, right? Never say, you're only getting this email because you didn't open my last one, right? We don't want to talk about that. We want to move on. We want to acknowledge and reward previous positive actions. Remind them that was good. Don't talk about the things that weren't good. Don't say, well, you didn't do that, so I'm going to give you this, right? You didn't buy, so I'm giving you another chance. Let's not talk about that. Let's make sure that we're focused on the previous positive actions taken. Then we're going to prescribe that next logical step. Because you did this, I know that you want this. Here's the next logical step in attaining that. Then we're going to make sure that we're inoculating or overcoming known objections. So what are the common misconceptions or known objections that exist on why someone would choose not to make a purchasing decision, right? They wouldn't give you their time. They wouldn't give you their money. They wouldn't consume the thing they already have. Let's go ahead and acknowledge those and inoculate against them. Think 8 Mile, right? We are going to rap about all the things that someone else could say about us to make fun of us before. So channel your inner bee rabbit and inoculate against those things, right? Like, let's take the wind out of their sails by saying all the things that they're going to use as an excuse not to move forward before they can say them, and also saying why they're not relevant. And finally, we need to make sure that we're starting the ideal sales conversation. So when the next logical step is too much, it's too big of an ask, then the ideal sales conversation may need to occur on the phone. It may need to occur face-to-face. It may need to occur on a Zoom, right? So do we need them to buy? Do we need them to reply? Or do we need them to consume? These are the questions we have to ask when determining the goal of this transaction. And finally, and this is one that people surprisingly miss all the time, ask for the conversion. Ask for the sale. Ask for the reply. Ask them to consume, and make sure you're consistent, right? Don't assume that if you imply that they should maybe think about buying this thing. You need to invite them, ask them, prescribe them to do that. So ask for the conversion.